Thank you for staying put. I'm delighted to introduce you all to the third panel of Her Start Summit. Before we get started on speaker introductions, to share their insights and experiences today, we have with us Ms. Piyali Chattopadhyay, Executive Director, TiE Ahmedabad. She'll also be the moderator for this session. We have with us Ms. Yogita Ahuja, State Director, CIM SME, Gujarat. Ms. Priyanshi Patel, Director, NK Proteins Limited. Ms. Bindi Patel, Founder, Bioplastic. Ms. Akansha Bhadoria, Senior Associate, GUSEC. Taking the program ahead, I'd like to introduce Ms. Piyali Chattopadhyay, who's the Executive Director of TiE Ahmedabad. Ms. Chattopadhyay is the Executive Director of TiE Ahmedabad and possesses over 15 years of experience in setting up and managing businesses, including operations, sales and service, partner customer and project management across industries. I now request Ms. Piyali Chattopadhyay to take the session forward.
Thank you, Rebecca. And first and foremost, good afternoon, everyone. And it's so good to see such an eminent, panel here today with us. And I'm very delighted to introduce, all my fellow members here. I welcome Priyanshi Patel, Director, NK Proteins Limited, founder of Elixir Gourmet Oils, founder trustee of Karma Foundation, and she's also the area director for Entrepreneurs Organization. Welcome, Priyanshi. The other panelist I have here is Yogita Ahuja. The name needs no introduction. Founder, director of Edu Sarthi Global and Story Circle. She is a TEDx speaker and a storytelling facilitator with more than 2 decades of work experience in training and coaching leaders. The next panelist we have is Bindi Patel. She is a graduate from Gujarat University. Bindi is the founder and director of a very interesting organization. The venture is called eCorrect Private Limited. It's a startup that manufactures biodegradable plastic, a true replacement of plastic. And then we have Akansha Bhadoria. She is the senior associate at GUSEC, a graduate from the EDI and an extensive background in digital marketing. And she's working, has been working also in the computer software industry for quite some time. So I'm looking forward to, all of you for your thoughts, for sharing your experience and giving your views, all around, the women entrepreneurship. I think the apt topic, special time for all women entrepreneurs to literally go to that next level. Right. So let's do one thing. I'll sort of start a little bit with myself in the sense about TiE, the organization that I represent, and how it can help the women entrepreneurs. TiE stands for India-US Entrepreneurs, which was established in Silicon Valley almost 3 decades back. We have 64 offices in 14 countries. We have 1 office in Ahmedabad, and therefore it makes it a global organization with more than 20,000 members base, which is of entrepreneurs, advisors, investors, and venture capitalists. It's considered as one of the largest not-for-profit organization fostering entrepreneurship. So there are 2 pillars that can actually help the women entrepreneurs in this journey. One is TiE India Angels, which can help in investing and funding, the early and idea stage startups. And it can help, which is more important, in mentoring, hand-holding, giving access to market, and so on. And the second forum that we have, we launched it last year. It's called TiE Women Forum. The objective of this forum is to help women entrepreneurs in terms of capacity building, global visibility, and increasing the networking. So there are a number of programs that we do, including pitching to global investors every year. And there are many interesting programs that can help, women entrepreneurs to take forward their startups. So with this, I would like to take this panel forward and have questions for my panelists. So let's start with you, Yogita. So I would like to start this conversation, Yogita, reflecting the last 10 to 12 months, because I think this has become like sort of a very different kind of a milestone in everyone's life. We know that entrepreneur's journey is all full of ups and downs. What happens when there is a downturn in the economy like this? How did the young startups manage, and what has been their survival strategy? Please, if you can sort of give your insights.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Piali. Thank you for a lovely introduction about yourself as well as Tai. It was lovely listening to you, and when you specifically mentioned about the entrepreneurship work that you're doing. Now, since I'm representing CIMSME, let me also share first and foremost, and then I'll come to your question, that CIMSME is the Confederation of Indian Micro and Small Medium Enterprises, which is a relatively young body. However, now we have a national presence, and in Gujarat, we have a specific wing called as WEE, Women Entrepreneurship and Empowerment Wing, where we work on a similar objective and goals like you mentioned about Tai. I think we're all in a similar space where we want to encourage entrepreneurship, and even more so women entrepreneurship, because that's the need of the hour. And now coming to your question specifically, according to the 6th economic census, women entrepreneurs comprise of about 8 million enterprises. Which comprises of about 13% of the total units. However, women usually operate either single-handedly or with the help of family members. So more than 40% of, again, a survey shared that more than 40% of the women-owned startups or enterprises are primarily single-owned or single-run, sole entrepreneurship models. So what does that tell us? That tells us that either there are systemic or process constraints that women face in their route to entrepreneurship, or there are, in addition to, of course, the socio-cultural constraints and the whole fabric in which we operate. And possibly at this point in time, in the last 8 to 10 months or little more, we've realized that pandemic has played further havoc to the way we had established ourselves. And especially I am kind of, again, concentrating on small, medium enterprises. I'm not looking at those exceptional large enterprises which are women-led. My focus is small and medium enterprises, which have more solopreneurship. Now, also I'm going to throw caution to wind when I'm going to share a bit of my personal experience, and possibly that will give you more authentic understanding of how we dealt with pandemic. So I particularly ran an organization called Story Circle, which is a dedicated academy for storytelling-based training for children, for adults, both parents, corporates, as well as teachers. Now things were going. I started this about 4.5 years ago, and in Ahmedabad, when I moved from Bombay, and things were going pretty well. We established ourselves, we created a niche, we built a lot of credibility as the only dedicated center or academy for storytelling-based learning in Gujarat, and we were getting invitations from across India for coming and skilling teachers, parents, corporates, everything. Now pandemic came in, and suddenly the entire ecosystem that we built around us, it went for a toss, because suddenly learning became free. Everybody was, learning was possibly the only thing that was free everywhere. More and more trainers wanted to kind of just, do things online for free. More and more teachers were being pressurized into doing things. So there was this whole complete change around of all the things that were supposed to be rising suddenly came to a standstill. And with it, I am not ashamed to say that we almost came to a space where we went back to zero. Apart from the credibility that we still held, nobody wanted to pay us for the work that we did, because teachers were facing job losses, they were facing heavy pay cuts. And then one thing that we could do was either sit down and sulk and see, okay, ठीक है, मेरा घर तो अच्छे से चल रहा है, you know, my husband's doing very well, so let me just you know, take it easy in life. Or the other thing was, okay, take it head on. What is it that we can do to turn around the situation in our favor? So I decided to act upon it and take some of the hard calls. I looked at my existing business and identified what are some of the challenges that we can turn around and convert those into our opportunities. And that's where EduSaarathi Global started taking shape in my mind. So it's actually an offshoot of Story Circle, and I'll come to it. And I take a lot of pride in mentioning at this point in time that while I was thinking about EduSaarathi Global, it actually helped become a reality in the short span of 6 months because of the help that I got from IIM Bangalore and its startup cell called NSR Cell. I happened to take part in the Women's Startup Program, and I got mentored from there. And from the move to the pre-incubation stage, I'm very proud to share that EduSaarathi Global is now incubated at NSR Cell. And the journey wouldn't have been possible if we did not look at what were the challenges. So EduSaarathi Global is a platform to upskill women homemakers as well as educators who either want to start a new or build an alternative career in education, specifically wanting to become education entrepreneurs, because we realize we can't depend on jobs anymore. We have to take charge of our own lives. So EduSaarathi skills them, mentors them, and also provides them business and marketing support to help them establish themselves in the market as storytelling and creative teaching entrepreneurs. So that is how we faced it. And now, quick challenges that could come in the way. Now, I'm not talking about myself, but I realized that, you know, women can't easily go out and get loans. Women can't easily ask for help, because the moment they ask for help, they're seen as weaker lot. And when they're seen as weaker lot, they are, you know, they're not given that license to fail. One failure, it takes them much, you know, many steps behind vis-a-vis a man failing, you know. So women can't even easily, you know, when they ask for help, when they dare ask for help, and in my case as well, I have a lot of male colleagues and you know, people I network with. You do mention that you need some kind of help. People smile and say yes, but they never come back to you. So at the end of the day, you find support in your own self, first and foremost, or two, with organizations and women networks like Possibly TIE or CIMSMEWEE. With CII, I'm also the chairperson for entrepreneurship at CII Young Indians. So networks like these, where there are a lot of women together, they hold each other up.
Correct.
So so for all the women entrepreneurs who are possibly wanting to start out, or they have recently started out, what I would like to tell you is that, you know, a wise person possibly once said that, you know, strong women stand for themselves, but smart women know when they need help. And the bravest women go ahead and seek the help that they need in order to get things done. So don't be brave, ask for help, leverage the power of network and collaboration, because that will hold each other up and we can together progress and rise. Thank you so much.
Lovely, Yogita. I think there were a lot of important points that you talked about. One is, of course, you know, sort of transforming, I would say, maybe an adversity into an advantage, or a challenge into, you know, in a positive way. I think that's very important. And I have also read that there have been so many companies which pivoted to something else by adapting and changing their direction. So rather than failing, they had a new business. Like, you know, in your case, you have given rise to a new business during the lockdown. And rightly said, I think collectively, if we have a good support system around, it can really help women to, you know, take their startups to the next level. Super. So, you know, taking this forward, I have a question here now for you, Priyanshi. So, of course, when I'm reading about you and I was, sort of looking at the work you have done, I could see you are quite multifaceted. And I'm sure it's not easy to manage, so many different roles at one time. What, according to you, are the most essential requirements to be an entrepreneur who can have a sustainable venture in the future? And what kind of a mindset are we talking about of such women?
Thank you so much for having me here today. It is always a pleasure to talk to everyone and meet fellow panelists. So when we talk about mindsets from the previous session, as Dr. Renu Swarup said, that the most important thing is to recognize your own potential. I believe we as women, a lot of times we feel that we're not enough because of a lot of mindsets that have been given to us by family and society, that we have very specific gender rules that we've been told that you can do this and you can't do that. So I think the step one is to know that you're enough to change the entire world, not just start a company. So first and foremost is believe in your own self, believe in your own potential, and know that you can build large companies, not just women based, like in fashion or you can also do manufacturing, ITs. There's so much more that can be done. So step one is recognize your own strength, as Dr. Renu Swarup had said. I believe one of the most important things that we tend to look at is the businesses as an entrepreneur, that we evaluate our success thinking that if we have a successful business, you're an entrepreneur. So from all the lessons that I've learned, and I've met thousands of very, very successful business people from around the world, and they say it's more about you rather than what you lead. So who you are and how you are as an entrepreneur is more important. It's not just one particular business that you start and maybe it can fail, maybe it does not do very well. But how you build yourself through that entire journey is more important as an entrepreneur. So have that drive within you. Know as to, it's a journey wherein over a period of 5 years, or sometimes there's a period of 5 months also, you can get considerable success. But always focus on your own self as an entrepreneur, not on the business. The third thing would like to talk about is failure. Usually, when you start on, there's not a lot of people who believe in your idea or the potential that you can have. So having a few small setbacks can also start putting out a doubt in terms of, can this work? Can I do it? Am I someone who can manage and lead big businesses? So, to not get afraid during those points, to build a circle of influence, a circle of trust around you that helps and pushes you in a very, very positive direction. They become your sounding board, who at those critical times can tell you that it is okay, even if you failed, there's something new that you can build from all the lessons and experiences you've learned. So there's never that you go back. There's always that you've learned to propel and push yourself into a forward trajectory. Another point that I would like to talk about very strongly is finances. When we start, we're very, very focused on what do we want to do, how will we do it, how will we market it. But the most important point is cash. Money is king. Cash is king. I would want all the women right here to please write that down. Cash is king. Do not run out of money. So before you plan something, know what do you want to do. How would the finances go out? So planning and utilizing money well is the most important factor for you to make it or break it. If you have money, you will be able to run through. If you run out of money, there's nothing that will last through. So managing and running finances is one of the most important skill set. Even before you begin, you should know how to properly utilize and always know that there'll be enough for you to keep maintaining and running your business. And the last point is evaluate your risks. There is this was one of the most important learning that I got from Deep Kalra when he was talking about his journey. So with the bowling centers, there came a point where he's like, to burn more or to start something new. So to know and to have that point from the start as to what is that one point at which you will stop your losses or you will stop whatever you're doing in order to pursue something better. So know that point. I think we get very emotional to things that we build. And even though we know that maybe it's not going on well, we refuse to pivot or we refuse to, give in. So knowing from the start with the finances in mind, knowing that at this point, this is how you would want to relook at things or maybe do something else. So have that point planned very early on rather than getting to the point and making not the wisest decisions because you're fueled by emotions. So in short, one, recognize and believe your own strengths. Two, have a mindset, focus on yourself as an entrepreneur and not be defined by the businesses that you run. Third, do not look at validations from society and do not let them tell you what you can and you can't do. Plan your finances very well. Remember, cash is king. You have money, you can do whatever.
Mentor, because you articulated all these key points very well. And yeah, I mean, entrepreneurship journey is all about failures and success. I think having this strong mindset, it's going to be the most important thing right from the beginning, to the next level that you go. Of course, we'll come back to you with other questions. While you talked about, the start of the journey and, there are so many obstacles, come right from the time you have launched a business. So I would like to go to Bindi now. Bindi, she is someone who has very recently launched her venture. She's incubated at GUSEC. The initial period, after launching a startup, it will have its turbulences. So I would like to understand from you, Bindi, what are some of the key challenges that you have faced? And of course, you have been managing it well as well. So your hands-on experience, probably right from funding to day-to-day operations, maybe intellectual property rights. Please tell us something how you have been managing it.
हेलो एवरीवन, थैंक यू फॉर इनवाइटिंग मी हियर। सबसे पहले मैं अपनी जर्नी के बारे में बताती हूँ। स्टार्टिंग में तो मैंने बीएससी और एमएससी गुजरात यूनिवर्सिटी से किया हुआ है। 2019 में मेरा लास्ट ईयर था एमएससी का। तो मेरा एक डिसर्टेशन प्रोजेक्ट होता था कि कोई भी इनोवेटिंग आइडिया पे आपको काम करना है। तो ये बायोप्लास्टिक का आइडिया मुझे तब आया था मेरे लास्ट ईयर में, और इसके ऊपर मैं छोटे छोटे एक्सपेरिमेंट करती थी लैब में। उसके बाद मैंने मैन्युअली अपने घर पे एक कैरी बैग बनाई थी जिसकी सारी क्वालिटी प्लास्टिक जैसी है, बट वो मैन्युअली था। और उसके बाद मुझे इसको स्केल अप करना था और इंडस्ट्री में जाना था। तो गुजरात यूनिवर्सिटी के इंक्यूबेटर सेंटर GUSEC में मैंने इंक्यूबेशन लिया। उसके बाद मुझे बहुत सारे सपोर्ट मिले, जैसे कि सबसे पहले मुझे उसमें से पता चला कि मुझे इसको कैसे स्केल अप करना है, कैसे मैं इसको इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रायल ले सकती हूँ। GUSEC और गुजरात यूनिवर्सिटी की मदद से मैंने फिर बहुत सारी इंडस्ट्रीज और लेबोरेटरी के साथ कनेक्ट किया। और मैंने सीपेट अहमदाबाद है, जैसे कि वो प्लास्टिक की सबसे बड़ी लेबोरेटरी है, तो वहाँ पे मेरे ट्रायल स्टार्ट किए। और वहाँ से मुझे इंडस्ट्री में ये प्रोजेक्ट कैसे ले जाना है उसके बारे में पता चला। उसके बाद मैंने अपना पेटेंट कंप्लीट करवाया फाइल GUSEC की मदद से। और उसी दौरान जैसे कि बहुत सारे फंडिंग की स्कीम होती है, लाइक SSIP स्टूडेंट स्टार्टअप एंड इनोवेशन पॉलिसी, एंड SAS स्टूडेंट असिस्टेंस स्कीम। तो सबसे पहले मैं आपको SSIP के बारे में बताती हूँ। तो अगर आप स्टूडेंट हो और आप किसी भी यूनिवर्सिटी से 5 साल के अंदर पास आउट हुए हो तो आप SSIP की स्कीम में अप्लाई कर सकते हो। उसके लिए एक छोटा सा फॉर्म होता है और आपको एक छोटा सा इंटरव्यू देने का होता है इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर में, जिसमें कुछ बेसिक क्वेश्चन होते हैं कि आपका ये आइडिया कैसे यूनिक है, क्या आपकी इसके क्या बेनिफिट है, क्या यूज होगा वगैरह। तो उसके बाद आपका सिलेक्शन होता है और SSIP की ग्रांट में आपको 2 लाख तक का सपोर्ट मिलता है, जिसकी मदद से आप अपने आइडिया के ऊपर काम करने के लिए रॉ मटेरियल, जॉब वर्क और लेबोरेटरी सपोर्ट जैसे बहुत सारे सपोर्ट ले सकते हैं। और इसकी मदद से आप जो आपका आइडिया है उसको थोड़ा सा स्केल अप कर सकते हो। प्रोटोटाइप डेवलपमेंट तक। उसके बाद आपको अगर आपको और फंडिंग की ज़रूरत है तो आप स्टार्टअप असिस्टेंट स्कीम में अप्लाई कर सकते हो। ये स्कीम में आपको इंडस्ट्रियल कमिश्नरेट गुजरात की मदद से 30 लाख तक की सहाय मिल सकती है, और उसके अलावा आपको 3 लाख तक का फंडिंग सपोर्ट मिलता है। तो उसकी मदद से आप सब कुछ इंडस्ट्री का जो प्रोसेस है वो करवा सकते हो। आपकी प्रोडक्ट को बहुत स्केल अप करने में ये आपको हेल्पफुल रहेगा। तो ये दोनों स्कीम में मैंने अप्लाई किया हुआ है, और इसकी मदद से मैंने कम्प्लीटली 2 साल अपना रिसर्च किया। और इसमें मुझे सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज ये लगा कि हम मैन्युअली तो कोई भी आइडिया पे बहुत इजीली प्रोटोटाइप बना सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर आपको वो प्रोडक्ट मार्केट में लानी है तो उसको स्केल अप करना पड़ेगा। तो इंडस्ट्रियल चीज़ें बहुत मतलब टफ होती है। तो मुझे यही बहुत चैलेंज लगा कि जो मशीन था प्लास्टिक का उस पर काम करना, और सेम प्लास्टिक के ही मशीन पे टोटली नेचुरल मटेरियल से बायोप्लास्टिक बनाना मुझे टफ लगा। लेकिन 2 साल के कंप्लीट ट्रायल्स के बाद मैंने कंप्लीटली कैरी बैग बनाई है बायोप्लास्टिक की, वो भी नॉर्मल प्लास्टिक के मशीन में, जिसकी सारी क्वालिटी प्लास्टिक जैसी ही है। और हम ह्यूमंस हर एक साल में 5 ट्रिलियन सिंगल यूज ऑफ प्लास्टिक का इस्तेमाल करते हैं। और एक अमेरिकन रिसर्च के अनुसार हर एक कैरी बैग का एवरेज आयुष्य सिर्फ 12 मिनट है। तो हम वो 12 मिनट के लिए हजारों साल तक प्लास्टिक को एनवायरनमेंट में छोड़ देते हैं, क्योंकि वो डिग्रेड नहीं हो पाता है। तो हम इकोरेक्ट पे ऐसे रेजिन बनाते हैं बायोप्लास्टिक के, जो आज के प्लास्टिक को रिप्लेस करेगा, और कोई भी प्लास्टिक मैन्युफैक्चरर अपने ही मशीन पे ये रेजिन की मदद से बायोप्लास्टिक का प्रोडक्शन कर सकेगा। तो इसकी मदद से हम इंडिया को प्लास्टिक फ्री, पॉल्यूशन फ्री और सस्टेनेबल फ्यूचर दे सकते हैं। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Bindi. Really love to hear, your entire story of how you started. और मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि तुमने, इस social impact के बारे में भी सोचा। Business तो होना ही चाहिए, but to even think that, I am making a difference in this society is wonderful. And I could also feel the bent of your mind towards innovating something, or, towards doing something that also brings convenience, besides, of course, preserving our earth and everything else. So that was wonderful to know. And of course मैं समझ सकती हूँ कि आपने हर एक जो steps किया, आपने बताया आपका funding से related, patents से related and all of this. If we have more questions around this from our audience, then definitely we'll come back to you and know more about you, right? And my best wishes to you for, taking your venture to the next level. Right. With this, I have one question now. Thanks, Wendy. I have one question which actually takes me to you, Akanksha. She did mention about the GUSEC and, all the support that she has got. And I'm so impressed to understand, the role of the support system that is become so imperative now, around the young entrepreneurs. So how can an incubator like GUSEC support and help them? I mean, right from the funding and the grant schemes that she was talking about to your initiatives like Her Start. Akanksha, I'll be happy to know a little more from you.
Yes, thank you so much, Piyali, for the introduction, and I'll be laying the foundation on the basis of what my previous panel members have talked about. So I have studied from Entrepreneurship Development Institute, which is one of very few institutes who actually teach you the theory of entrepreneurship. And if I actually talk about the concept of, so there is no thumb rule or a rule book which follows for entrepreneurship. And if somebody wants to start something in the very initial phases, I was always very clueless that, okay, if I want to pursue entrepreneurship as my career, I do not know where do I have to go. And then comes the picture. The second question, which very rightly Priyanshi talked about, was that the second question is, where do I get the funding from? It's very simple. There are two things. How do I start with Reship? And the second one is, of course, where do I get the funding from? And this is where such setups with the educational institutes come into picture, which is like Gujarat University Startup and Entrepreneurship Council, which is GUSEC. So organizations like GUSEC help us on various fronts. I think one of the most important things is the ecosystem which you get. So from actually getting access to the co-work space which we offer, to getting access to a lot of cloud credits. So let's say if there is Amazon AWS services, HubSpot services, or if you need any designing services, you get a lot of access to credits where you can actually work on your product. You get access to 3D printers, you get access to auditoriums for marketing. So all of these things which will help you not only build your product, it helps you procure a very good network. It helps you with marketing your product as well. So from the very initial stages of creating a POC to actually going to the market, commercializing the product, you get a very nice ecosystem. You also understand from your peers. So all the startups which are here at GUSCC, they help each other out. And then organizations like CIM, SME, and UNICEF and Yuva, the network which they have, they somehow add a lot of value to the startups which are out there. So it helps them build a mind frame as to what are the processes, how to go about with it, because that is where it starts, right? That I do not know where do I go from here. So it's very simple that you come to an organization like an incubation center like GUSCC, and then they can help you, they can handhold you with each and every process. And Bindi has already talked about a lot of the main two grants. So GUSCC is a nodal institute which actually helps in disbursing these grants, which is which is a USP of such an incubation center. And with these grants, you can not only get assistance with your very initial ideas, you can get assistance for marketing, you can get assistance in sustenance and allowances as well. So with student startup innovation policy and policy where you want to start scaling your project, you have startup assistance scheme. You have a lot of schemes which are related to technology as well. So we have one scheme which is technology incubation and development for entrepreneurship, that is through TIDE, and it gives you funding assistance for technology products for up to 40 lakhs. And like very likely when Biddi said that she got assistance from our organization for IPR filing. So IPR is a very comprehensive project for any startup. And it is so detail oriented that it can boggle anybody down. And that's when again this ecosystem comes into place, that okay, we will we'll hold your hands and get your IPR done without any cost, so we can consult you for any legal assistance. So that's about the financial assistance and the ecosystem which helps. And then of course there are programs like HerStart, which I believe a lot of incubation centers run across the year, and there are programs which actually motivate women, because you need a push, right? Ultimately, if you want to believe in yourself, you need programs like HerStart to actually motivate and promote female entrepreneurship. So HerStart is one such. This is our second edition. We did our first one in 2019. And this second edition is happening on a virtual level, and you can, of course, apply on herstart.in. It is a very simple process. And after you apply, even if you have an idea or even if you don't have an idea, just apply. And there is like a session a boot camp which we will be doing, which will actually, help all the startups from early stage to the ones who are already having a business. They will help each of them in a certain direction which they can follow, which actually move towards a scalable business one fine day. So of course, we are disbursing about somewhere around 12.5 lakhs of financial assistance to startups through HerStart. So I think this is definitely a very good initiative for women entrepreneurship. And on such a day where, I'm so sorry, but yeah, happy International Women's Day to everybody here. And I believe that there needs to be a lot of motivation, because it somehow is becoming a niche. Women entrepreneurship is becoming a niche, and that should not be the case. So yeah, I believe I have covered my points. Yeah, have I missed out on anything?
And absolutely, Akanksha. It was wonderful knowing all the support that's happening. And I always believe, with everything around, mentoring is one thing that's completely priceless.
I agree.
And all the support systems that Yogita talked about, you talked about GUSEC and similar institutions. The mentoring, I think, is one of the, or TIE does.
Right.
These are one of the most important things, I guess, helps in in the journey. And so that's wonderful to know about all this is happening. One of the things, of course, if there are any questions, happy to take from the audience for any of our speakers. We can take it now, or we also have one or two, more topics that we can definitely talk about that can help our women entrepreneurs who has an existing business or who are, aspiring to start something of their own someday.
I think there are some questions. Let me have a look at the chat section. Piali, even if you can have a look so that
sure
it can be addressed.
Okay, so one question, share the link. Okay, so one question is there which says about, please share the link or the website of Gujarat Funding and Support Agency.
Okay, so for
that can
this,
be put on the,
yeah.
Yes,
so sorry to interject. Okay, so I believe if you go to GUSEC website, which is gusec.edu.in, you will see a tab of benefits. That's where you will get the access to all the benefits which and the funding assistance which are active at the moment. So I think you can just go to the website and it's easy access, because the links, I do not have easy access to the links here for me to share.
Sure. And wonderful. We have the link here.
Yeah.
Yes, and they can copy it. And there is another question which is about the selection procedure for HerStart. I'm assuming that is also there in that.
Yes. So
site.
Let me quickly tell you about the eligibility for HerStart, which is very simple. So like I said, that even if you have an idea or not have an idea, if you want to pursue entrepreneurship as a career, you are eligible for HerStart. And if somebody already is working towards a startup, so the main criteria is that one of the co-founders should be a female for them to register for HerStart, because this is a women-centric entrepreneurship platform which we have built. And startups with at least one woman as a promoter has to be there, and you have to be a citizen of India. So that's about it. That's the basic eligibility criteria. And the process is, all you have to go is, you just have to go to herstart.in and fill the form.
Perfect. Thanks. I think there are 2-3 different points around this. So, all the questions there, I think we have covered. So while we have further any questions coming in, I have maybe one quick question, Priyanshi or Yogita, if any of you would like to talk about, in the last 1 year, we have seen most of the sectors which came up, like, whether it was edtech or fintech, health tech, technology is playing a very, very big role in making success of a venture. How big do you think that technology is creating the differentiator? Because, it has happened in the past many times that a lot of people, even women entrepreneurs, are thinking that if I have a product which doesn't have a core technology, or probably technology or IT is not supporting it in a big way, then either, my venture will not succeed, or maybe I will not be able to scale it beyond a point within India or outside. So maybe just a quick, your views on it. Yogita, would you like to talk about it? Yeah.
Okay. I was just asking, Priyanshi, are you taking that or should I answer?
Yeah. I can talk about it.
All right. Sure.
So, in this world, especially post-COVID, I think there have been a lot of changes which have happened. And not just IT, I think the ability to be flexible and agile enough to change according to different scenarios is what's important. Now, for that, technology is also needed, different strategies is also needed. So, I believe that having a strong IT plus like a thinking department is also very important, that is ready for all kinds of crisis management, which is looking at a very futurist perspective in terms of where the world is moving, and is your idea or what you want to do in line with that, and do you have all the resources for it. So I believe along with IT, a vision of the future is important.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, Yogita.
Yeah, thank you, Priyanshi, for setting the ground for it, because why I wanted to also take this question, because it's very important, and a lot of women-led startups may not always be tech-related. They may leverage technology, but they may not be tech-related. For example, even my own product, we are leveraging a software, a learning management system, an educator management system. So technology becomes a support factor, but it's not the core of the product. So most of, in fact, that would be, if I can actually talk on behalf of women entrepreneurs themselves, I can put myself in their shoes and not on the speaker's shoes. And in fact, how do I put it? Urge the incubators, who are supporting the women startups, and you are forming, more and more startup incubators are coming. Government is putting so much more stress on creating a very, very positive startup ecosystem for entrepreneurs overall, and especially also so much for women entrepreneurship. But in case you could also, most of India is still not very, very, high tech, if I can use that, word. We still live in villages. We still live in small towns. And even the basic technology, which is the internet, is not available everywhere. So there are bound to be products and services and startup ideas which may leverage technology in the long run and help them to scale up, but the technology may not form the core of it. So it would be best to balance the tech and non-tech startups and allow the entire ecosystem to flourish, and not so lack of technology should not be a hindrance for a person who wants to start up. So we have to be considerate of looking at what India specific innovations and offerings should be.
Yes, no, absolutely, Yogita. I completely agree with you. I mean, there are so many different kind of businesses, not necessarily need a big technology around. So no, that was fantastic. And I really had, a great time listening to the insights and your experiences and all of good work that is happening in this entire ecosystem that's supporting women entrepreneurs. It feels so motivated and encouraged when we see all of this is happening. I don't see any additional questions right now. So over to you, Rebecca.
Thank you so much, Piyali. This was such a vibrant session. I mean, this almost was like a little incubator where there's so much discussion, so much talk, literally brimming with ideas and your stories. So thank you all for joining us here. I would now invite Ankit Dave, Associate Vice President, GUSEC, to present his concluding remarks.
Hello, everyone. First of all, wishing you all a very happy International Women's Day. My name is Ankit, as Rebecca mentioned, and I take care of operations at GUSEC. So on behalf of GUSEC and UNICEF, I would like to thank all the panelists of this session for sharing their expert insights on how an aspiring woman entrepreneur can start a venture, how can women avail support, and what kind of benefits are available to them, and more essential and other information regarding women entrepreneurship. I would like to thank Piyali for moderating the session and pulling out all the information and insights about entrepreneurship for women. And I'm also thankful to our experts, Ms. Yogita and Ms. Priyanshi, for sharing their experience and thoughts. I thank Bindi, who was a part of previous edition of Herstart, and now she has reached new heights through all the support. So congratulations to Bindi as well. Thanks Akanksha, my colleague, for sharing all the important details about all the benefits and supports available for women entrepreneurs at GUSEC. I'm to such seasoned entrepreneurs and stakeholders of the startup ecosystem will inspire many girls and women down the path innovation and risk taking. I would like to shout out to all the aspiring women out there and invite all to participate in Herstart and take a first step towards converting their dream idea into a successful business venture. Our team at GUSEC is right here to guide you for the same. Once again, thank you all.
Thank you, Ankit.
Thank you so much.
Lovely to know about all the great work you guys are doing.
I would now like to thank all the dignitaries and speakers for their engaging insights today. I also thank our wonderful audience for tuning in for our event. Our next panel discussion is titled Women Entrepreneurship Story and is being conducted as a part of the India-Israel Partnership Program, where we will be joined by Yaakov Finkelstein, Israel's Consul General in Mumbai, and another exciting guest speaker. We have an interesting panel ahead of us, but now is the time to disperse for a short break. Thank you for staying put. I'll see you in the next session that begins at 1:50 p.m. Thank you all once again. And for all of you, if you have any query related to Herstart and GUSEC, you could join the lounge room where the team would be more than happy to assist you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day,
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
How do we log out?
Yeah.